Here's to the dude down the street with the garage band. The folks standing on the street corner asking for change. Change. It's something we all need. But until things get a little better, listen to the music play. Where in the world is Megan's new music? There's no need to check your radio dials. You are in the right place. Welcome back to a peaceful, loving episode of Where in the World is Megan's New Music. I am so glad you made it. We're coming into the end of August already. I simply cannot believe it. Summer shows have been all across the land, big names and not. Moonshine Jasmine is gearing to play the Grassroots Band Jam in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania on Saturday, August 28th, that's tomorrow, up at Cooper's Lake. Lots of great releases have hit the music platforms. It's been a good musical summer. If you're working on the forefront of the music industry, I pray that you've been able to stay busy and find new endeavors. And to those who are booking us and listening to our music, thank you for giving music a chance. I want to kick off this week with a fun number by our friends Back Alley Sound. This song is called Basement, and I can assure you that once again, these guys have brought a funkadelic jam that is sure to get stuck in your head.
In my coffee, price tag on my thoughts. Mesla next up's head up, cause I'm coming for his fight. Homemade preaching gon' make my teeth rot like sweet Jesus. Pleased to meet ya, I think not. Only thing I'ma put 'em on is the defensive. Singing for some pennies while I'm swinging for the fences. And anything short of momentum's incentive. Go echo standing uncorrected, a lack of direction. Yeah. Bright ideas hit me from the sunshine. Catch 'em two-stepping on the front lines. And I might bring a rubber chicken to a gunfight. We're chin-checking, get your chucks tied, here we go.
I hopped out the bazaar, searching for parts to get my hoopty to start. New generation Picard, the worst of 13 filler arts and solitaire with heads and starts of playing cards like, gosh, fuck, it's so hard not to erupt. Constantly on the cusp of implosion as such. It burns the underbrush, the real me bubbles up, rolling a blunt. Sharks, bars, candy crush, but a question. What you glorify in this section? I'm in search of a destiny since times of the Byzantine. Embezzle a fantasy, sun shines on a spotless mind. We redesign shit. Hold your monologue, we demigods and reach your thoughts and we ain't even verified yet. So hold up. Got my life in a backpack labeled hazmat. Souls in a brown paper bag as I melt with a pool from the blast like where the
I'm at the crib like a rebel without a cause. Cue the coup de grace, let it all represent the sentiment of my junk in your jaw. Hope for the faux pas. I lay down and then I dip out to the sound of someone shouting. The fuck just came out that kid's mouth. Since the slightest vinyl scratch could let me do a psychopath. I had to pick my head up just to put it back in my pirate's hat. Spitball in a China shop, that kind of talk is cyanide. Spitball the stuff in your bomber jacket with dynamite and bad habs. The boulevard allies swarmed by the barflies. It's lit on the dark side, I take it too far. Till the car dies at the crossroads. The bravado, feel like Pablo's, but it's all mine. The boom bap, Statler and Waldorf. Got 'em screaming either uncle or encore. It's back to the dungeon and straight to the top floor. So my girl will show you hoes to the dog.
Back at it, set it, the second Roger Rabbit in the attic 6 years ago. The static addicts, the crickets, a bubblegum princess has a bit up on my dick since the Spankers Club body count is endless. That Kelly dispense riffs, I'm smoking up res hits till light years not here. This is business. A sentence that I'm trying to make infinite. As I know hip footprint, trying to gather up some samples like money is bad as hippopotamus, but still don't have a pot to piss. Still searching for accomplishments. I'm tormented in obelisk, and on some honest shit, I gotta face it. Make it out the basement.
I'm just trying to make it out the basement. The basement, the basement, the basement. I'm just trying to make it out the basement. The basement, the basement, the basement. I'm just trying to make it out the basement. The basement, the basement, the basement. I'm just trying to make it out the basement. The basement, the basement, the basement. I'm just trying to make it out the basement. The basement, the basement, the basement. I'm just trying to make it out the basement.
Get the fast lane,
That was Basement featuring Yak the Atlas. Those cats are hailing from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm glad I got to run into them. Why don't we travel west a little bit to Ohio for this next song? I can't lie, this one is one of my personal favorites as I was very close to the writing process. This song is proof that there are always two sides of every story, but sometimes one side just isn't correct. Let's listen to Alice by Thomas LaRue.
There's a girl who lives on the edge, tempting you to follow her off the ledge, making you a promise, a solemn pledge that nothing will break or even wedge, pulling you down to the rabbit hole, creating a sin you cannot atone. A heart that was red now looks like coal. Here she comes, now to steal your soul. All this pain you cannot mend, and all her will you cannot bend. You may think that she's a godsend. Wait for her there where the colors blend. All this pain you cannot mend, and all her will you cannot bend. You may think that she's a godsend. Wait for her there where the colors blend. There came something you were unprepared. Now where's the girl who said she cared? She left you alone, broken and scared, and no one is there when you need repaired. Left all alone with a shattered mind, in prison walls that she designed. She's the marionette, the mastermind, but now she's gone and left you behind. All this pain you cannot mend, and all her will you cannot bend. You may think that she's a godsend. Wait for her there where the colors blend. All this pain you cannot mend, and all her will you cannot bend. You may think that she's a godsend. Wait for her there where the colors blend.
Once again, thank you for sticking around for Where in the World is Megan's New Music. That was Thomas LaRue with his first single, Alice. I am very happy that we have this song to share together. Well, this next song that I'm going to play for you is all about living your best life and being the best version of yourself, no matter what the haters might say. These cats are some real, genuine dudes coming from Pittsburgh, and I got to meet them personally. They're really awesome. Let's listen to Live Fast and Leave a Good-Looking Corpse by Blackridge. tell ya, every time I hear that song, I can't help but bop my head and dance like a fool. If you like them, be sure to check them out on Spotify. Remember, that's Blackridge. And as a reminder, all of the artists that I spin for you here weekly can be found on YouTube, Spotify, and other musical platforms. Make sure you're checking out their social medias and giving them those likes and subs and show that love. That's what it's all about, right? Well, this next song has stayed in my top 10 favorites for quite a while now. He's originally from Alabama, and he's currently traveling these beautiful United States with his girl and his van Luna. This song is called I'm Doing My Best, and it's by my dear friend Skylar Davis. Let's take a listen.
Another normal day, woke up feeling the same. I didn't sleep that well, but still I give thanks. Eyes in the sky, seeing my selfish heart. Deep inside my mind, looking for a fresh start. You may see a kid who doesn't know where his life is going to go. And even though this world gives me stress, I promise that I'm trying my best. Working 2 jobs 'cause you do what you gotta do. And ain't nothing wrong with that, just don't lose the pride in you. So much expected of a human trying to find their way. But don't worry about it, 'cause I promise it will come one day. Just keep your faith, gotta keep your faith. You may see a kid who doesn't know where his life is going to go. Even though some things give me stress, I promise that I'm trying my best. You may see a kid who doesn't know where his life is going to go. And even though some things give me stress, I said I promise that I'm doing my best.
One final song before I get this week's call-in guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Stolen Fruit by Idiot.
hustle just to fuck and bail. I can see it in your eyes, the hesitation's just for show. If you feel like making trouble, I know somewhere we can go. I could. And how can I resist it? I'm feeling so sadistic. One look and it's like confession. I think it's time that we learn our lesson. Her man's been away at college. She's got the body and I've got the knowledge. One kiss, now I'm fucking Peter. Stolen fruit tastes so much sweeter. One kiss and you traded over 11 months for a night half sober. No trust, now you live dishonest. Don't waste your time on a broken promise.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you, as always, for sticking around for another episode of Where in the World is Megan's New Music. As promised, I do have another guest with us this week. On the show, I want to introduce one of my new favorite musicians. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Craig Veltri. Craig, how you doing this week?
Doing wonderful, Megan. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. It's an honor. I've been listening to your music for a few weeks now since you sent it to me, and I've been quite the fan. So it's really great having you on.
Oh, I'm flattered. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. As I've been telling everybody, you're doing country music the way it's supposed to be done.
Well, it's interesting. It took me moving to Nashville to really get into becoming that kind of. I don't consider myself a country artist, for the record, but I consider myself a singer-songwriter that has written a couple of country songs. But I don't think it's a right way or wrong way to do a certain song, but I'm glad that I'm glad at least I'm getting the aesthetic that's familiar to some people.
Absolutely. So you said you moved to Nashville. How long ago did you do that?
That was 2015. I had been living in. So here's the Craig Veltri travelogue real quick. Born in Pittsburgh in '85, moved to North Carolina in '98. Bounced around the state quite a bit, including with my music. And 2015, I moved out to Nashville. Started getting some inroads there. And after COVID and everything hit, I decided to move back to Pittsburgh.
Well, that's awesome. So you've done a lot of traveling. How has the music translated from each area? I know in my personal experiences, you can't quite find blues music here in Chicago like you can in Pittsburgh, and you can't find country in Nashville, and like anywhere else. So, what kind of things did you manage to pick up as a singer-songwriter along the way, going to such different places?
That's a very good question. And the answer, I think, really is not so much about where I was, but when I was. When I got started playing guitar when I was about 14, 15, that was, the tail end of the post-grunge alternative stuff, Matchbox 20, Third Eye Blind, Oasis, a lot of four-chord songs that were very easy to pick up. So that's how I kind of started to grow my teeth. Cutting my teeth was being around a lot of bar musicians in and around North Carolina. Sure, you got a lot of country, but you really got acquainted with Tom Petty and the Rolling Stones. You talk some blues. I mean, there were certainly a couple nights we did Sweet Home Chicago here.
Yeah.
The only where I could say things started getting a little heady was being in college towns, and certainly being in Appalachia in North Carolina. I remember going to a couple of gigs out in Boone, North Carolina, big college town, Appalachian State, and certainly Asheville and some of the surrounding towns that I played around there. A lot of bluegrass, a lot of there were a lot of Earl and Scruggs, and and it. But certainly Nashville was the one where I really, kind of got the crash course in what country and Western sounded like. And I certainly, that's the one place, 5 years, I walked away a much better songwriter. My mother, if you listen to the song Vagabond, Mama prayed I'd be a doctor someday.
Yeah.
Well, she actually even said the words, it's like, well, you going out to Nashville, that's kind of, I see that as you going to grad school. And in essence, she was right. So, because you everything that you've heard on Spotify that I've released within the last year was were both written and recorded in Nashville, and I think it's some of my best work.
I'd have to agree with that. Who were you recording with when you were down in Nashville?
So the Vagabond EP was recorded with a great gentleman by the name of Jack Gavin. He was not only my drummer for about 2 years down on Broadway, he was also the drummer for Tanya Tucker. He was the drummer and road manager for Tracy Lawrence.
Wow.
But his claim to fame, and I'm really proud of him for this, he was the drummer for the Charlie Daniels Band for 14 years. That was his big break.
Wow.
And in fact, there's even though Mr. Daniels died this past year, they're still doing his annual Tennessee Jam out in Nashville. And for the first time in about 22 years, Mr. Gavin, Professor Gavin, he is a professor out at, he teaches drums for Lipscomb University.
Excellent.
And so I call him Professor. So Professor managed to get on stage at Bridgestone with the Charlie Daniels Band for the first time in 22 years. So shout outs to him. Congratulations for his triumphant return.
That's amazing.
Yeah, great guy. The other two singles, and I got 2 or 3 more in the chamber on this one, were recorded at Off the Row Studio in Franklin, Tennessee. By a great guy by the name of P.T. Houston. And P.T., he's worked with a plethora of people. To give you an idea, he's worked with Merle Haggard and he's written with Gene Simmons.
Wow.
So he's gotten around, and his studio's beautiful. It's on a horse ranch out in Franklin. This like converted barn it's mostly analog equipment, and you can really hear the crispness of and just pure acoustics of it in the in Making Noise and Biloxi. So and just a cool guy who was just a guy who was booking me gigs, and you just never know who you're going to meet down in Nashville, and who you're going to want, who are going to wind up being your collaborators for sure. So
That's excellent. Yeah, I made my way down to Nashville once, and I got to play on the Commodore stage, which was excellent. And I'm
you've met Debbie Champion, who ran the Writers Round a couple of times. Great.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet Debbie. I was actually working with Jimmy that night. He works hand in hand with Debbie. So
I think I did one with him too. Great guy. Yeah,
excellent guy, and he has an excellent stage. And I met a lot of really great people down there from a lot of different parts of the Southern music industry. And like, I've always tried to, as you said, you don't really call yourself a country artist, and I'm kind of the same way. I'm a singer-songwriter that writes some decent country tunes along the way, and it was really nice to be able to go down there and hear so many different versions of the same element of music that I'm trying to create. And it was, I definitely want to get back down there, and I'm trying tooth and nail to get into Leaper's Fork, and I'm hoping soon I can. Hoping soon.
Yeah. I think that's where the original Puckett's restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I did a couple of the. It was an open mic, but they, it's a quaint little roadside general store that they kept open and turned into a restaurant, and they do music there. I think I have a video of me doing a Lyle Lovett song on stage there. With my shaggy hair and a Billy Idol T-shirt. So
excellent.
If you can imagine. As you could guess, I was kind of looking for a direction at that time.
Hey, we all got to find our way somehow.
Indeed.
So why don't we listen to one of your tracks? We've been sitting here talking about the music, and it's absolutely incredible. We do have room for 3 tonight. So what song would you like to talk about first?
Well, let's go in order. Off of the Vagabond EP, which is available on Spotify. This is a song that I wrote with Trenton Chandler, is the guy who actually introduced me to Jack Gavin. He is an incredible songwriter, an incredible country performer, pure solid country gold all the way. He's a West Texas. I can't remember exactly where in Texas he is from, but I promise you he is legit Texas, legit country, and he's really killing it down in Key West. Did you ever find yourself down in Florida? Look for Trenton Chandler. He helped me write this song. We were just, as we say in Pittsburgh, jagging around in his living room and just talking about my fiance at the time and how she just would often just come in like every third sentence and I love you, and thankfully she still does, but after a while it's just kind of like, okay hon, shut up, I love you. So.
Oh, well, that's great. I love the backstory. So why don't we take a listen to Shut Up, I Love You by Craig Veltri.
She says she loves me, she tells me all the time, and it's because she's got a worried mind. When I get moody and start to lose my cool, she'll say don't leave me. I pull her close, say kiss me you fool. Shut up, I love you, you're beautiful, you're all I need. I'd be a fool to ever set you free. I want you, I got you, until the end of time. I think you know that's true. Shut up, I love you. Ooh, I love you. She's got a good heart, one that I didn't break. She's daddy's angel, but daddy made mistakes. She always thought that I was the love and leave him kind. Maybe she was right, but darling, don't you realize you're the one that changed my mind? Shut up, I love you, you're beautiful, you're all I need. I'd be a fool to ever set you free. I want you, I got you, until the end of time. I think you know that it's true. Shut up, I love you. Told you, I'm happy that you're mine. So let me say it so you don't have to say it for the 1,000th time. Shut up, I love you. Shut up, I love you. You're beautiful, you're all I need. I'd be a fool to ever set you free. I want you, I got you, until the end of time. I think you know that it's true. Shut up, I love you. Shut up, I love you. Ooh, I love you. Ooh, I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Shut Up, I Love You by Craig Veltri. And that was one rockin' tune. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, hey, I mean, we talked earlier, I mentioned Tom Petty, and in truth, when Trenton and I started writing that song, he's like, man, this is how he talks. He said, well, I mean, right on, man, you really do that Tom Petty stuff. What's your favorite Tom Petty song? And at the time, I mean, that changes every week. At the time, it was The Waiting, and you can hear it kind of that walk down in G.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of switched it around, and I I don't know his discography from front to back or anything like that, but I defy anybody who does what we do for a living that does not know at least one Tom Petty song, or at least know one person that if you say she's a good girl and has that stuck in your head for the rest of the day.
Thank
God
you
bless
very
Tom
much
Petty.
for that, by the way. It's now going to be in my head all day.
And to your listenership as well.
Yes,
So.
yes. My band often plays Rolling of the Joints. Yes, I don't think I know anybody who doesn't know at least one Tom Petty song. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So I gotta ask, you mentioned that there was a co-writer on Shut Up, I Love You. Do you do a lot of co-writing with your music, or is a lot of this stuff kind of, by your own hand? What's your writing process here?
I just love to write, whether it is with collaborators or by myself. I find it's a lot easier. If anything, I find it easier to write with women because it is it's easier to tap into that emotion. Trenton is kind of a unicorn in an essence that he's not only a great sounding board, but he's also a really can get to the essence of the message that you're trying to get. And there's another song on there called Smooth Talking Heartbreaker that we wrote that wound up on the Vagabond EP that was also another in 15 minutes kind of a co-write. But as far as my writing process is concerned, it's usually a line. It's usually me sitting down and just clunking something out. And sometimes it's several rewrites, sometimes it's just fine. It really just depends on what I've managed to put on the page. If you're asking for technique, I've started doing on the phone, but I got to tell you, I got a desk full of legal pads with lyrics because that's how I started writing, and that's kind of how I can really kind of commit to it, and I'm able to memorize it a lot better because I actually put a little more energy than just twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Everybody always tells me that it's odd that I carry a little notepad with me, but if I don't write it down, that song lives and dies in my phone, and it never gets used.
Oh, yeah.
And oftentimes there's a lot of really great lyrics that I'll come up with on the fly, and unless it's on paper, I might as well just have never thought of it.
Yeah, and it's the thing. I keep telling myself. I actually have a document on my Google Docs called what is it called? Potential lines, and just like some ideas that I have, and I have used them in co-writes here and there, and oddly enough, they are songs that have gone nowhere. So there you go. It's basically a graveyard for what could have been good ideas, and just because it's like Mitch Hedberg once said, it's like, sometimes I think of a joke that's really funny, but I can't reach a pen, and I have to tell myself maybe it wasn't that funny.
Exactly.
If I butchered that, I hope Mitch Hedberg's ghost doesn't come to haunt me, or his estate doesn't come with pitchforks and torches.
Even if it was paraphrased, I'm sure he'll appreciate the shout out nonetheless.
All right, good.
So tell me more about Nashville and all your travels. I know that when I tried to play in Nashville, North Carolina, recently, I got a festival gig out in the boons of the area, and I didn't actually get to play in the city. And I know, at least from what I was able to find, it seems a bit niche in Nashville to kind of get into those places. So, have you had the chance to open up for any like bigger names, or have you worked with any, folks that have any sort of like, hold in cities and towns like that? Because like I said, it seems like it's a bit difficult down there.
Not really. I've kind of been, ever since I started out, I've always kind of kept to my own devices. I haven't really played any big festivals, stages open for anybody. And you're absolutely right with Asheville in particular. It is very difficult to get in pretty much anywhere. I've, hung around the area, did a couple of open mics, and they really do want big national touring acts, or they want to they really wrap their arms around their own. And even though I was a Carolina artist at the time, it was very difficult to get gigs, which why I must give a special shout out to the Town Pump Tavern outside in Black Mountain, North Carolina, for booking me a couple of times in the mid tens, so to speak. And it was very chill, very laid back, really cool people who just love music, and God bless anybody who's actually born or lives in that town, because that's just, I mean, it's such a supportive supportive place to be. I mean, Pittsburgh, I think, is a lot the same way, in that if you are homegrown, and you make it, I mean, you're on Permani's wall immediately.
Yeah.
They immediately claim you. So,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of the reason I came back too. So,
That's definitely a goal of mine, is to be up on that Permanis wall someday. when I first started playing music, I'm not even lying to you. I went down to Permanis, I looked at the wall, and I was like, right there, that's gonna be my spot someday.
well, there you go. There you go.
Oh, that's so funny that you said that.
Save me a capicola and an icy light, please.
You got it. You got it. Oh, that is so funny. Oh, man. Well, that is amazing that you've gotten to do so much traveling and so much playing, especially as an individual branding yourself. I've found that it's very difficult to do that in this world, especially with the way of the world. I mean, I'm running a radio show here with Unrestricted Radio, and it's practically at home, and the way of the world of music has just changed so much for us. And that makes it easy for us to create this stuff, but it also makes it difficult to kind of become an individual and stand out with our own unique sound and our own unique branding. And I think it's really interesting that you've been able to get out there, and like I said, as your own brand, because it is very unique making what you're making in today's world. Everybody wants to grab a mixing board and a chaos pad and make an EDM track, which is great, but there's not too many folks out there picking up that 6-string acoustic and really pumping out those good, heartfelt, emotional pieces that the world has truly been missed and lost on.
Well, I mean, I don't. Well, I appreciate all of that. I if I can paraphrase something that was said at the beginning of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, they do it because they were born to do it. I don't see it as I mean, that you mentioned the guy with the crash pad, that's his way of expressing his worldview. That's the music that speaks to him, and he's found a crowd. I don't know if I found a crowd just yet myself, but I also know that that's the only way that I can bear my soul in any constructive way. Lord knows I tried journalism, that didn't work out. So and as much as I did college radio myself, that I kind of was like, in both instances, I kind of said to myself, why be the umpire when you can play ball? Mm-hmm. So I kind of the term branding kind of gives me a little bit of a tinny sound in my ear, because I mean, I'm not Coca-Cola. I'm Craig Veltri. Yeah. I'm flesh and blood. I'm human being. I'm just some yinzer who knows a lot of songs and has written a couple. So it's what I love to do. There is no greater feeling standing in front of a bunch of people, them applauding you for giving on one of yourself, and especially if it's something that they had never heard before because you wrote it. So it's give me that twice a day for 30 days,
I couldn't agree more. I've always said that music is absolutely 100% the best medicine, no matter what it is that's going on. Well, speaking of music, I think it's time to listen to another song there, Craig. Which one would you like to show the good people now?
Let's slow it down just a bit. This is a song that this is actually a song that I did write on my phone. after a couple of weeks listening to almost exclusively Merle Haggard and Glenn Campbell, I, for whatever reason, I just kind of wanted to escape everything, and I came up with this romantic scenario that became Biloxi.
Excellent. And I will be honest, we've been spinning Biloxi for a while now. So this is a song that we are familiar with, and I know that I have absolutely fallen in love with it. And if you haven't heard it yet, ladies and gentlemen, then I know you're going to be in the same boat. So why don't we take a listen to Biloxi by Craig Veltri here on Where in the World is Megan's New Music?
Will you meet me in Biloxi, where we can start again? We'll meet as long-lost lovers, or just long-lost friends. Make your way and I'll be waiting by the lighthouse on the shore. And if you meet me in Biloxi, I'll be yours forevermore. Oh, how I've longed to hold you, feel the magic in your touch. Thought we weren't meant to be, and it didn't mean that much. And since we've never been, no one will know us there. They won't know where we went, and we might have a prayer. So will you meet me in Biloxi, where we can start again? We'll meet as long-lost lovers, or just as long-lost friends. Make your way and I'll be waiting by the lighthouse on the shore. And if you meet me in Biloxi, I'll be yours forevermore. How I've longed to kiss you, feel your arms around my neck. Thought the time it wasn't right, and it was for the best. I was wrong, and though I've heard it's a fine place to stay, we won't be long for Biloxi. From there we'll make our getaway. So will you meet me in Biloxi, where we can start again? We'll meet as long-lost lovers, or just as long-lost friends. Make your way and I'll be waiting by the lighthouse on the shore. Yeah, and if you meet me in Biloxi, I'll be yours forevermore. I'll be waiting in Biloxi to be yours forevermore.
That was Biloxi, and I got to tell you, that is just one incredible song. I have it on my playlist here personally, and I love it. Thank you, Craig. It's just great.
Well, thank you for playing it. I'll tell you this story. have never been to Biloxi, Mississippi, and the truth about me is that my travels have been pretty limited to the Carolinas, Tennessee, and Western Pennsylvania. Trust me, I do want to get out there more, maybe see Biloxi, maybe see the other coasts at some point. Now, so it is true that Biloxi is kind of this, this dreamland, and I actually remember actually looking up. It's like, where would be a good place to find this person? Oh, there's this beautiful lighthouse. So there's the image there. It turns out that my mother almost moved to Biloxi, and Biloxi, and it's a lot of my family members' favorite song. My mother in particular, because her father was a merchant marine, jazz bass player, knew Dizzy Gillespie on sight when they visited New Orleans. That's a great story. But he had an opportunity. He had a friend from his hometown of Altoona who lived in Biloxi, and he was going to get him a job there. And my mother spent summer of 70, 71, one of those years, in Biloxi. And I guess she had told me about it, and maybe it just kind of stuck in the back of my mind. But, but yeah, Biloxi is a town I had never visited, so it'd be kind of an easy place to escape to. So, but but my mother flat out asked me, it's like, did you write Biloxi because of something I said? I was like, maybe no, but it's like, yeah, I told you about that when you were little, and I'm like, I guess it's stuck in there somewhere, Mom. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Craig, we don't have too much time here with each other. It's been one heck of a pleasure to have you here on the show. We've had a great conversation. I did want to ask, do you have any upcoming shows or releases that you wanted to tell us about?
I do have one tentative release by the end of the year. It'll be another one that I recorded with PT Houston. Stay tuned to all my social media for that. As for dates, the one date I will mention throughout the rest of the year, I will be playing at Ellie's in Carnegie every Friday for the remainder of the year, except for November the 5th, from 5 to 9 every single Friday. So if you don't know where to find me throughout the week elsewhere, that would be the easiest place. Full dates are available at craigveltri.com, and I post them periodically on my Facebook page, mostly on my Facebook page, but just keep an eye on my Instagram. And if you see a picture of my equipment in front of in front of a bar, or see a bar sign on my Instagram, that's where you can find me. Hurry, hurry. The beer is not going to stay cold forever.
Excellent. Well, I will keep an eye out for those dates, and I will make sure that the good folks back home know where to find you as well. Awesome. We've got time for one last song to close out the evening. I've heard such great music so far. What else do you got to share with us?
Well, this last one is a song that can either be construed as a thank you letter or a screw you letter, depending on the day, the memory, and the mood. This song, it is a song that I was inspired to write when I was doing, after I did a writer's round at Bobby's Idle Hour Tavern right there on Music Row.
Yes, yes.
You've been?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, this really cool beer bar owned by this guy named Lizard Bob, I think is what they call him, a very accomplished bluegrass writer in his own right. And I met a couple of guys in there. There was the man who wrote "Don't Take the Girl" by Tim McGraw, who unfortunately died this past year. I remember playing him a song off my first record called "Home Out on the Shore." We were just kind of sitting around in a circle with a couple of writers, and he just looked me up and down and was like, "That's beautiful, man." I'm like, "Thank you." His name was Craig as well. So I'm like, "Thank you, Craig." And so, and I kind of, Billy Joel, I would say, Van Halen's my favorite band, but Billy Joel's my favorite writer. Because the man could do anything. So I kind of wrote this as, kind of a piano man reporter view. Look at all these writers here, and look at them all chasing the same thing. I released this song literally the day after I moved from Nashville, so it turned from my piano man into my Say Goodbye to Hollywood.
Mm.
So it was one of the first times one last anecdote I'll give on this story. A dear friend of mine out in Wisconsin by the name of Liam Nuchin, I was playing the song. Him and I were playing a gig at a place that is now Miranda Lambert's bar. It used to be Crazy Town, but we're on the second floor playing a gig together. And, I'm playing, making noise to a sound guy just to show it to him. And I'm on one side of the stage, Liam's on the other side, and Liam, very pensive, he just looks up after I finish. He's like, the original key was C flat. Yeah, it was B flat. And he said, hey man, bring it up a step. All right, I did. Went to D. You can drop that low D string on it. And that really made all the difference. And that was the moment I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to cut this one. This one's going out into the world. So thank you, Liam.
That is awesome. I love it. Well, thank you once again, Craig, for spending time with us here this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope to see a lot more of you and to hear a lot more of you in the coming months ahead. We're going to listen to one more song here on Where in the World is Megan's New Music. It's been fun. As always, I'll see you next week. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, peace and love.
They come from around the world to strike gold, chasing the cuts and the deals before it gets old. They'll bathe in the Broadway lights till they no longer glow, then start making noise on Music Road. Armed with the songs that the radio craves, they'll take pennies on the dollar to hit the radio waves. And all those bitter, jaded laughers act too cool for the road. Out there making noise on Music Road. Turn a clever little phrase, sing a melody that pays, and if you play it loud and clear, maybe Warner Brothers will hear. They'll sing about trucks, they'll sing about beer, they'll sing about Jesus, whatever they want to hear. Yeah, that song's gonna be a hit, they'll remain unknown. Out there making noise on Music Road. Ah, make me a little noise! Clever little phrase, sing a melody that pays, and if you play it loud and clear, who knows, maybe Scott Borchetta will hear. They come from around the world to strike gold, chasing the cuts and the deals before it gets old. Yeah, Music City, USA, got no show